This is Two Blokes Talking Electric Cars with Stephen Fennick and Trevor Long. Thanks to NRMA Insurance and Uniden.
And we appreciate their support. NRMA Insurance helping Australians protect what matters most for almost 100 years. And they are Australia's largest insurer of electric vehicles too. So give them a shout. If you bought an EV, give them a shout and see whether or not they can do a deal for you on your insurance. Every car needs insurance, and every car should also have, Stephen,
a Uniden dash cam, award-winning dash cams, front and rear available. I recommend getting both, but it is no matter what sort of car you drive, even if it's an EV, have a dash cam. Protect your investment.
I think both of us, when we bought our EVs, we said yes to graphene coating or whatever, tick boxes, tinted or whatever, and then the dash cam.
Definitely.
In terms of getting things done to your car when you buy it, dash cam should be very close to the top of that list. We'll get to your calls shortly. 0477 657 657. If you want to get in touch, send us a text, send us a WhatsApp, and we'll get you on the show. If you want to talk about EVs, we'd love to hear from you, especially from people who own an EV, have got real world experience with an EV. Come talk to us. We want to learn from you, and everyone else listening does the same. And Stephen, I was thinking about we've had messages in recent weeks from people, I've binged all the shows and stuff. You don't have to listen.
These are people who haven't bought an EV yet. They just want to know. They want to learn.
You don't have to listen back to some 62 other episodes, right? But if you do...
Subtle hint at how many...
If you do want to, go for it.
Yeah, they're all there.
Let's just reset for a minute and think about the marketplace, because it has changed a bit. And there's still reasons why people do and don't want an EV. There's absolute stumbling blocks to EV. There's a lady on Instagram and TikTok whose account name I'm going to say is Electrify This. She's very big on the whole green ecosystem. So everything from keeping your home shuttered down so that it's not leaking heat, and when you're trying to keep it energy efficient. But also she lives in the inner west, and she's doesn't have off-street parking. So I learned from her, so just to prove that we can all learn, I learned from her that there's a thing, and I don't know the name of it, but there's a thing called like a curb license, where she gets a license to run a cable across the footpath, a footpath license. Okay. And she's got this amazing setup that allows you to, make it safe for people.
Yeah.
But there's also, in some other countries, in England this happens, they grind into the footpath a channel, and they put this thing in there which allows you to put your cable in, and then it easily just comes out.
So no one's
going to
trip over it.
Safe. I didn't know that existed.
Yeah,
so for the people, one of the biggest stumbling blocks we hear is I don't have off-street parking.
Yeah, I can't charge it.
There are many, many more chargers being built, being added to telegraph poles and all those kind of things. But there's also these nifty little ways of charging yourself that doesn't have to mean you're going to end up in the Daily Telegraph for your charging cable running over the tree, right?
Absolutely right. No, it's. I think one of the be honest, it's probably one of the first things you think of, getting an EV. Where am I going to charge it?
Yeah.
Previously,
we ask pretty much every caller, don't we?
Yeah, you buy a petrol car. Previously, you buy an ICE car, and there was no thought to it because you didn't have to think about it. With the EV, of course, you need to consider where you're driving it, where you're going to park it. Can you charge it at home? Can you charge it at work? Can you charge it on your way to different places? And there's still, I'll tell you straight, there's still a lot of people who are still reluctant to make the switch.
Yeah.
And I think it's learn. I think knowledge is power here. Learning the range and its capabilities, but also how and where you can charge it, how fast you can charge it. I think once people find out the facts, and it's only getting better. The charging speeds that we're experiencing today are way better than the speeds that we were experiencing when we first got into our EVs years and years ago. So I think that you take all the facts into account, and it could convince people that EV is the right move for them.
Just for full clarity, it is Electrify This, and her name is Sarah Aubrey. If you want to look her up, she's makes great content about EVs. But we ask that question of everyone, when they've got an EV, how do you charge and all those different things, and we also ask them what they love and hate. And normally there is something little niggly, and we'll ask people on today's show. But I think one of the things about it is just the honesty around it. You've got to be honest about it. You've got to be, because I think the best thing we can do for some people is say, an EV is not right for you.
Maybe not. Yeah,
it may not right for you.
Yeah.
So, for example, if you are going to do a lot of country driving and you're not prepared to buy a Tesla for cost reasons or whatever, I would say to you it's a bigger challenge, not and maybe not for you, because I talk about my struggles with the country driving, but I'm more likely to muck around with these things. I'm less likely to get frustrated. If you're living in a city area and you're got solar panels on your roof.
Yeah.
Just
you
the
only
idea
drive,
of
you don't drive
justifying
a lot.
that.
Yeah. It's like on average, what is it, 35, 40 Ks a day? If you're doing around that a day, even more per day, then you could easily top up that overnight and have a full.
And a lot of those
battery.
people too, a plug-in hybrid might be the perfect solution for you
Yeah, it
because
might be
that,
a nice
that
midpoint.
80 or 90 kilometres of range you get from the full EV component of the plug-in hybrid, plus you get your larger capacity.
If you're
petrol.
on a larger trip, if you've got a bit of range anxiety, if you're thinking, I might go beyond the range of the battery, you got the petrol motor to kick in as a backup.
I think. Oh no, I'm actually going to do a written or video and or both reviews of both the Kia and the Cupra, kind of long-term ownership, because I think you look at them, and you go, okay, what? I could be positive only about the Kia if I wanted to be. It's a bloody great car.
Yeah.
But in negative terms, bloody hell, it beeps a lot. But that's just an ANCAP thing. And if you want a car that's got a 5-star safety rating, it's going to do that.
Yeah.
But I can tell you how to turn it off because it's now available and it wasn't available 12 months ago. So those things have changed.
Turn it off for good, or
no,
each
just turn
time?
it off every time you drive. You push and hold the mute button on the steering wheel. It's easy, very easy.
So it takes a
Amanda
couple of seconds.
never does it. But you've got to hold the mute button for 4 seconds, and it changes the setting to the mode where it won't
Just
beep at
remember.
you.
Yeah.
When you're speeding, it'll still beep for everything else.
Yeah.
It'll still beep when you're tired and when you
of course,
when you need a break.
Yeah,
but the other thing is, I was thinking about the Cupra, and the biggest negative about the Cupra is that the infotainment screen, the processor, the computer chip is slow. It's a slow system.
Really?
Like to connect Apple CarPlay, it never just happens. It never just happens in the morning. You've either got to force it in or you've got to wait 5 minutes of driving and it'll just find its way, right?
Not with the cable, so it's wireless CarPlay.
Oh, no, cabled.
Cable,
It doesn't,
really?
That's the other thing. It doesn't have wireless, but I don't care about that at all. But the thing is, I know that it can work because if I drive all the way to Channel 9, right, and because I get out of the Cupra, it turns off. I've got to press the buzzer to open the door, and I sit back down. Apple CarPlay turns on instantly.
Straight away, yes.
So it's something about literally, I know it sounds crazy, but it needs to warm up. Now, that's not a deal breaker for me. But for some people, that frustration would drive you nuts.
Maybe.
Sometimes we just got to be honest about our cars, Stephen. What would
absolutely.
you, if you had to look back on your, I can think of one thing you could have or should have done about your EQE. What would you have done differently or changed?
On the EQE?
Yeah.
Well, I went for the dual motor version, and I probably didn't need the dual motor version, but I'm thinking just for the value of the car, I thought I'd do that.
There was also an option, wasn't there, but you didn't know it was an option about the charging capacity or charging speed.
I
for 22 kilowatt.
Yeah, my car is only capable of 11 at home, 11 kilowatts. But
I'm not sure it genuinely is an option in Australia, but
it's not an option in Australia.
No, but they said to you would have had to have done that before it was built. But I think that is only an overseas option.
Yeah. And one thing that, not annoys me, but the recuperation, I've got to keep turning it on to strong. I like strong recuperation. Every time I drive it, I've got to put it on to strong recuperation.
Choose that mode, yeah.
And
You'd
sometimes
like to
you
remember
forget
that.
and then think, hang on, I've got to put it in strong.
Yeah. It's funny how something like recuperation, if you don't know it's available and you've never tried it, can I just suggest you learn if it's on your car or not?
One pedal driving is awesome.
But
That's one thing. You don't want to have the other car, the replacement car.
Yeah.
That's one thing.
You're running up the house.
Wait a minute. I don't have the
because
I've got to put the brakes on.
So recuperation is basically when you're braking or decelerating, your car will generate power and put it back into the battery.
The motor in reverse. It slows the car right down.
I know for a fact Amanda has no idea what this is because she's never used it. Because her default setting is just to use it as it is. Now there's a bit of recuperation. It's not on zero.
Yeah.
But it's just whatever it
Not
comes out of
strong.
the box as, right?
Yeah.
Whereas when I get in the car, I'm like click,
I'll go the strongest.
I'm up to strong. On the Cupra, there's only really one option. It's you're in drive or B mode. God knows what B stands for, but better recuperation is what I would call it. And I always go straight into B because I do want a little bit of I want the car to brake when I decelerate.
Yeah.
It doesn't do full one pedal driving.
Strong, mate.
And not all cars do full one pedal. See, these are the little things. If you drive like Penelope, 16 cars, 16?
I think she got up to 16.
She got up to 16. If you drive 16 cars, you learn that not all of them do one pedal. Not all of them have three
or the degree of
settings.
one pedal either. Sort of the strength of that recuperation. Yeah. For sure.
It's fun to drive different cars if you're in the market, and I really think that this
one
is
pedal driving is, I reckon, one of the best features of an EV.
more than any other time if you're buying a car. So if you're buying a Corolla, you don't really need to test drive it if you've driven one before. You can just go, I want the one with that color and that spec and whatnot.
Yeah.
But if you're buying your first EV,
you need to get behind the wheel.
get behind the wheel of several.
Yeah.
Drive a Tesla. They're amazing. drive a Kia, drive a Hyundai, drive a Ford, drive a Mercedes, whatever it is. Drive a Polestar, drive a Volvo. There's some bloody great options out there. A lot of great options. Drive them all because it's going to make a difference. Every car has different features. And I think that's probably the most important
quirks
thing.
Too. Everyone has got their own little quirks and little specialties and stuff. So.
And let us know what you've driven. Yeah. Let us know what you test drove before the car you chose and why you chose it, because it's fascinating to me to hear that from people.
Absolutely. And hearing all these different opinions and different experiences, that helps everyone else.
0477 657 657. We'd love to hear from you. If you are in the market for an EV, let us help you. Let us go secret shopping with you. Let us spend your money.
That's you never know. We might get them a deal. Is that right?
Well, and that look, I keep forgetting about it, but there's a few brands, many brands, that I could potentially get you a better deal on. I'm not getting a kickback on it. There's no benefit in it for us. It's just simply I would prefer that
we want to help you.
I got a good deal. Why shouldn't you? So get in touch. If you're about to buy a car, send us a text. Tell us what the model number is, the model make and model, and I will find out whether we can at least get you an offer. And you don't have to take it. It's no obligation.
Brokers. We'll be like brokers. Is that right? Or?
I mean, if enough people do
just ask the question.
We might start clipping the ticket. But right now, we just want to help you out, folks. So if you're in the market, let us know, and we'll help you get a great price on the car that you've decided on. So once you've decided, let us know, and we'll see if we can get you a better price. Two Blokes Talking Electric Cars. Your calls straight after this. Two Blokes Talking Electric Cars. Thanks for your company. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for downloading. Great to have you with us. 0477 657 657, the number to send a text to or a WhatsApp, and we will get in touch. We'll try and get you on the show and hear what you have to say about EVs. On the line right now is Mark. G'day, Mark.
G'day, fellas. How are you?
Yeah, real good, buddy. You own an EV and you're in the market for something else. Talk us firstly about what you own and whether you're a fan.
I've got a Tesla Model 3. 2.5 years. It's my wife's daily drive, but I love it. We fight over it whenever I can get my hands on it.
Righto.
Well, that's a good thing. So how many, is the wife, did she love it from the get-go, or was there some convincing involved? And how do you charge it when you're at home? Have you got a whole setup going on, or do you not need that?
Yeah, I got the whole setup. There was a bit of convincing initially, but then my brother had one, so she jumped in. I got him to take her for a drive, and she went, "Oh yeah, rightio, that's pretty good." Yeah. And she took it for a drive, and she went, "Oh, okay, yeah, right. I see the appeal."
She got it. She got it straight away.
Yeah, that's it. So yeah, and it's great. It's a great car.
What are you lumped with in the driveway then? That's obviously not a Tesla. Oh, hang on, he said it's ugly.
Excuse me. Really?
Model 3 is ugly.
Oh, so you got the not the latest version.
You got the bubble eyes.
The bubble eyes.
Mm.
Yeah, I like the look of it, but when I'm sitting inside it, I don't.
Yeah.
You know what? It's the same for me when I'm at home. I'm happy with myself until I see a mirror. So what are we worried about? You know what I'm saying?
That's it. That's it.
So what have you got in the driveway if she's got the EV?
I've got a Hilux. Primarily used for towing the caravan. So that sits there 98% of the time, doesn't do anything. Right. And I've got a company little Volkswagen Caddy for getting around.
Very cute, mate. Very cute, the Volkswagen Caddy.
Yeah, so, and it's quite efficient.
Yeah, right.
But it's getting a bit long in the tooth and costing a lot of money to keep it on the road.
So you G'd up by the Tesla Model 3, mate, the whole EV thing, and want to go down that path or what?
Absolutely, yeah. I'm after a commercial vehicle, but looking around, the pickings are fairly sparse.
Mate, there aren't many. I mean, obviously, the BYD Shark is a viable option because it's a plug-in hybrid, and so you do get some electrification in your daily drive, about 100 Ks, and we spoke to an owner last week, a pending owner. So, in the ute space, there is also an LDV, fully electric, but, mate, avoid. It's old technology now. It's very successful in some mine sites and things because it's just doing runs. But I don't think it'd be your daily
Can it tow
driver.
a caravan though? Can't tow.
No, well, you're not looking to replace the towing. You're looking to replace the caddy.
No.
Are you?
I don't expect the EV to go the caravan.
Yeah,
okay.
It's just too big and bulky. It's an air brake, you know.
Right,
So
So, mate, there's really
But,
two big options there. I mean, there's three. There's the Volkswagen ID Buzz Cargo, which is like the modern combi van. That'll come out in seats and van version. There's the LDV.
I've taken that for a test drive.
Yeah, what'd you think?
I loved it.
Oh, hello.
It's fantastic, but at just shy of $90,000.
Yeah.
Tough.
It's a bit rich.
Yeah, mate. And look, let me compare that to the LDV eDeliver, which is LDV's electric van. They say from 63,990 drive away.
From 60.
Yeah. Now I've had because Stephen and I get a lot of couriers, right? I've had a couple of couriers turn up in this thing, the older version, the new one. I'm just looking at it for the first time on the website. It looks bloody nice.
Yeah.
Like it's a nice looking van. Have a look at that, Stephen.
Yeah, cracker.
So I would say definitely go and have a look at LDV. Because 63,990 is actually pretty good value for a van. Now you're going to get around 320 k's range out of that. So this is not a car you're going to take to the country, but 320 k's is probably more than enough for a day and a half of driving, isn't it?
It is. That's probably quite doable. And I do have the home charger, so I can just charge.
So would that
each
suit you,
evening.
that sort of range? What sort of driving do you do?
Well, I can do a lot more than that on certain days too. The area I cover is huge. I go down to Nowra, up to Newcastle, out to Dubbo sometimes.
Right, okay. So have you had experience with the regional charging network as a Tesla owner or not yet?
As a Tesla owner, I've used the Tesla chargers. I've driven in the Tesla with the wife. We've gone on breaks and we've driven to South Australia, driven to far north Queensland.
Okay.
Wow. Okay.
Driven to Melbourne. Love it.
And mate, the other option that's definitely worth considering is the Ford e-Transit van. And I've driven this thing. Is
that the one you drove
much
down to
bigger.
Young?
I drove it all the way to. I drove it to Walker.
Walker. Okay.
Did I get it again to go to Young? No, I hired a car because I couldn't get the e-Transit again. But I think the e-Transit is probably going to come out a bit more expensive. But honestly, it's a great car because it has all of the bells and whistles inside. But I do worry that it's probably going to come close to combi numbers. But that's also because it's a much bigger van. So the e-Transit van is actually enormous in terms of storage space. It's a stand-in. In the back.
Yeah, I think they call it a high top or something.
Yeah. So you can have your gear either side of the van and walk down the middle.
Full height in it. Yeah.
Whereas your LDV is more of your traditional van. So it feels to me like the LDV is probably the best option for you. And I know that's frustrating to say there's only really one option, but man, unless you can find a way to get your accountant to agree that business is you're doing very well on that Volkswagen's an option.
We hear a lot about novated leases and stuff. Is that'd probably be above the threshold, would it? That price?
It would be, yeah.
Well, no, I mean that's where I'd like to go. Instead of buying it outright, I'd like to be able to have it for 3 years or 5 years or whatever.
Maybe
the best.
Go the more expensive and get it on a lease. Would you have got the others on a lease as well, or were you going to buy those?
In the past, the business has bought them, but that seems to be like old thinking these days.
It does, mate. It's so
happening.
strange to think that you don't buy an asset like that now. But the way I look at it is, and look, I'll be honest with you, the EV9, way out of my price range, right? Way out of my price range.
Yeah.
But when I looked at it, I went, okay, I'm trading in a car that's of good value, so I'm actually taking a bunch off. I'm actually paying today the same amount that I was paying to have the Carnival before. Yeah. But what I end up with is a problem in 4 or 5 years that I've either got to sell the car for a really good number and get out of it, or I'm going to go, I'll finance the rest and I'll keep it for 10 years. So it's really just up to you as to how you play that. But I'm not here for financial advice. I think sitting down with your accountant and saying, look, I mean, and I don't want to tell you to suck eggs, but it's really just a matter of, okay, you're probably thinking about buying a new car, right? So you're thinking about having 40 or 50 grand to spend on a car. Yeah. What is it better for me to put it down a solid deposit? Yeah. You might put down 20 or 30 as a deposit and have a much lower lease cost on, for example, the ID Buzz. Because you know what? the other thing about this is it's your bloody daily driver, Mark.
Yeah,
You've got to
you'll get a
my
tax
office
break on it.
too.
Yeah.
I
It's your
spend
office.
a lot of time in it.
You'll be able to claim it through. Talk to your accountant. You definitely claim it through your business.
Also, how good is your company logo going to look on the side of a Volkswagen
Yeah.
ID Buzz?
Absolutely.
That's it. There's a lot of advertising space there, isn't there?
Yeah.
There is, mate. I will say to you, go and have a look at the LDV. It looks like a really nice vehicle. Like the design is not anything I've seen from LDV before, so that's a bonus. That's a good win. And have a look at what you decide. And the other thing I'd say is, mate, don't buy anything until you've sent us another message. If you narrow it down what you want to get, let me at least ask the question of the contacts that I have in the industry to say what's the best price Mark can get on this vehicle. So get yourself a quote and then send me a text and say, I've decided on this car. Can you get me a good price? And look, 30% of the time, the contacts I have can't deal with that brand or that vehicle. But I'll ask the question for you for sure. Might save you some extra money on the top, buddy. All right?
That's great.
That's
Love
just part
money.
of-
Love
that's
money
just
in
part
my
of the-
pocket.
Part of the service we offer here
Part
in
of the service.
Two
Part of
Blokes
the deal.
Talking Electric Cars.
Thanks, fellas.
Let us know how you go, mate. Keep us informed and enjoy
we'd like
the
to hear how you
process
go.
of test driving and then hopefully buying something awesome for the business, mate.
Thank you.
Good on you, mate. Thanks for getting in touch. Really appreciate it. If you want to get in touch, you can just send us a text, 0477 657 657. Great to have your company, 0477 657 657. But you're sick of me saying that because you know the number, folks. I mean, if maybe you've saved the number in your phone as Two Blokes.
Two Blokes Talking Electric Cars.
Just Two Blokes, because you can get in touch with us just generally.
Yeah.
I mean, that could be what you do. I mean, don't pester me with text messages, to be honest.
Trevor, I'd love to hear how you're going, how your day's going and all that.
Just
He loves hearing for receiving messages like that.
thanks, Stephen.
Yeah,
Really appreciate
thinking
it.
of you, Trev. How's your day going, mate?
Anyway, Peter's on the line. G'day, Peter. Thinking of you, mate. How are you, buddy?
G'day, guys.
Mate,
Good to see you.
thanks for joining us. Where are you at in your EV journey, my friend?
Oh, I think I'm fairly into it. 2.5 years, 120,000 Ks.
Whoa, what are you driving?
I resist to mention this. The Toad, and in white, of course.
And in white, as well.
I love the fact that you're happy.
The name's caught on.
You're happy to concede that I call it the Toad, but you're reluctant to say it. But mate,
affectionately referred to as
it's a term of
a
endearment.
term of affection.
Absolutely. I mean, I hate the bloody thing, but
I do sit in the car listening to you guys going, it's not a Toad, give me a break.
now get out and walk to the rear quarter and look back at it again and then go to the front quarter, mate. It's a Toad. Anyway,
well. You seem to be happy with it, mate. You've had it, 2.5 years and
my opinion's
Ks.
irrelevant. You loving it?
Yeah, I am. And look, Trevor, I'm not far from you, so I'm hoping you're seeing my car and just hating it. So
there you go.
But yeah, look. It hasn't missed a beat. So it's been great. Look, I've come from a ute. I was occasionally putting some heavy loads in the back, but I just decided, I can just put a tow bar and just put my trailer to better use on those rare occasions.
Yeah, right.
So
Just got a little box trailer.
that's it, just a 5x8 or something like that. Box trailer, yeah. So
What adds up to 120,000
Yeah, sounds like
mate?
you drive a lot, eh? Yeah.
yeah, so I'm in the Blue Mountains. That's where I live. I work at Thornley. That's my office anyway. And then so I'm either driving there or one of my major customers at Brookvale, so I go there a lot.
Okay.
And or the airport. So mostly just that sort of way, driving a bit of inner city.
Oh, so you come out Trev's way and my way. I'm near the airport, and you come out.
I
near
think
Trev's.
spends a lot more time up here, mate. You have
That's
to
a lot of miles.
flash the lights when you see the little EFTM Cooper, my man.
I did see one day actually at the school drop-off, but no, I don't think I've ever seen yours around here.
Okay, well, mate, I'm definitely around here, but I'm mainly just parked at the office. I'm pretty much just at the office or up Duffy Avenue to my home. So
and I'm actually using his
plenty
charger
of
right now.
Teslas up on Pennant Hills Road, though. I can see.
He's there ever.
It is prolific, and most of them are Model Ys. And good luck to those people.
That's true.
You've been in the car a while. So were you going to turn reviewer for us? What do you like about it, and what would you improve? Let's start with what you like.
I should have thought about these questions, but look, geez, I must admit I'm prolific on the autopilot.
Okay.
Because of the long distances, it just takes a load off. Like, when I had the Ute, it did have like a lane keeping feature, but it was like ping ponging across the lane all the time, which a lot of cars still do. Look, it's it really is a fatigue relief with the autopilot. It's great having that big screen with I can listen to podcasts and music, and the stereo is amazing.
Yeah.
It's and plus it saves a fortune as well.
Yeah.
I just had a look at my charge stats, and over the last 12 months, it was anywhere between $50 to $90 a month in electricity. So,
Pretty good.
compare that to the Ute. I was spending
Weekly.
when fuel prices went through the roof, I was spending up to $180, and that wouldn't even get me through a week.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And so then you keep that hat on. If you had Elon's address and he was willing to take your call, what would you ask him to change?
Look, you know what? It's the tiny little things. I'm a little bit surprised because if you're in a really pitch black situation, you can't actually see exactly where to put the plug in on the port. And I noticed some other brands put a little halo around the port.
Yeah,
I know
I've got the same with my
but
car. My Merc has that. I'm early in the morning sometimes, and sun hasn't come up. And I need to turn my phone torch on to actually put the plug in properly.
Struggling to find where to put
Struggling
it.
to find where to put it in the darkness.
It seems like such an obvious thing, but obviously the
point.
wipers are a bit detrimental on the Teslas. I wish they would have just used tried and tested technology on that.
What about not having the cluster in front of the wheel there? You got used to that now, or would you like something there, a heads-up display or something?
It's funny you mentioned that. Look, I'm a technician, so I've done plenty of mods to mine. I do have the. I'm a big thing on Waze because of all the traveling I do.
Yeah.
So I do have the Waze running on Apple CarPlay right in front of the steering wheel. I got a yoke just to clear the view a bit better.
Okay.
And put a swivel mount on the main screen just to have that pointed at me, so I'm in a little bit of a sort of a command center there.
Yeah, nice.
Did you just say you got a yoke? You got a yoke
Yeah, and look, I've been breath tested numerous times because of all the driving I do, and never once has the police officer batted an eyelid. And I've mentioned it to my insurance company, who I've got a renewal coming up soon, and that went up about $300. But anyway, no police officers ever raised batted an eyeyelid on it. So
where did you get the yoke from? Did you order it from America from like a proper Tesla, or is it an aftermarket thing?
No, I think it must have been Allied Express or something like that. I was very particular. Had to look OEM. Had to look factory. I didn't want any of this carbon fiber nonsense and all that. I didn't want to look blingy. I just wanted to look factory.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Nice.
Now, if you do so much driving, what is your charging situation? Are you at home and on the road, or is it a balance? How do you manage it?
So, strangely, I don't. Even though I used to back in the day, I don't do a lot of northwestern New South Wales. I do mostly southwestern New South Wales, and so obviously when I do those road trips, I'm just hitting the superchargers because they're everywhere. Good enough for me anyway. So I go down to Cooma and Tuma and Griffith and Wagga and Cowra and stuff like that.
Yeah.
No dramas on the road, mate. No charging dramas
everywhere, isn't it?
Yeah.
Look, I was open-minded. Sorry for switching the subject a little bit, but I was open-minded to a BYD.
Yeah.
Because this is obviously going back a few years when there wasn't too many options that were somewhat affordable.
Yep.
But look, I sort of thought, you know what, this is a company vehicle essentially. I get a car allowance, and if I don't get a vehicle that fits the purpose, then I'm kind of shooting myself in the foot.
Yeah.
And I really wanted to go electric, so I pretty much had no choice but to go with the Tesla, just because I knew that I'd have a safe, travel in the country.
Mate,
so,
the Tesla supercharger is a selling point of the car.
As we've learned about the BYDs and the Teslas, that's a risk.
Yep.
And that supercharging network is an absolute selling point for regional driving, mate.
Yeah.
So, but in your regular week, if you just come and Blue Mountains to Sydney and Brookvale, do you
all
bother
at
to charge at home? Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Just I've got the 3-phase, Tesla charger, and I have it come on at 1 o'clock in the morning, not 12 o'clock like everybody else, and to flick off before 6. So the car's, I just have that set to max, and it's fully charged, probably within 2 or 3 hours or something like that.
So you got solar at home, or just normal?
Yeah. I've got quite a large quite a large solar system, so 20 kilowatts. But unfortunately, only home on the weekend. So I do try and charge off solar on the weekends, but I haven't got the Tesla charger because I haven't got a power wall, so I can't sort of control that charging off the sun. So I just, I just set it to a low rate of charge on the weekends during the daylight hours. And look, I have all that automated actually using the Apple shortcuts. It's amazing what you can do with Apple shortcuts to automate your car charging. Yeah. So, and another thing is, and obviously because mine's actually the base model, the slow Tesla, the 6.9 second one, and so you can 100% charge the LFP battery. But I've actually resorted to just doing it 90% during the week and just 100% on the weekends. Just from what I'm hearing, it might just help push the life out of the battery a bit further. So
the thing is, we really don't know, do we? I mean, we've had some conversations in the previous weeks about battery health being more positive than people expected, but we also really don't know what 10 years is gonna hold. And I was only thinking about it the other day. I was looking at the Cooper. This is going to sound ridiculous, but I was getting pizzas for the kids' baseball team training. I walked back to the Cooper and I went, that's a good-looking car. And I went, you know what? I have no reason to ever get rid of that car. I love it. I love the look of it. Why would I get rid of it, right? Yeah. And I thought, I hope that I have this in 10 years so that I can have that experience of going, it had 511 kilometres of range when I bought it. It now has X. I kind of want to know. Yeah. Like, I want to know the degradation of my battery.
I'm the same.
So you've done 100. You've done 120 Ks. Have you noticed any changes there? Do you monitor that sort of thing or not?
Yeah, look, I think it's every Model Y said 435 when you first, fully charged it. Yeah. Mine's down the highest because like I said, I'm not doing 100% all the time now. Yeah. So the battery's the BMS is probably a bit confused. I don't really care about that as long as the battery lasts.
Yeah.
So I think the highest I'm getting now is 417 indicated.
Yeah, not bad.
So that's not a proper.
But you sound like you're doing a lot of highway driving as well, which would change the calculation. I've said this a lot, but I think for anyone that's new to this, it's a really important thing. When you pick up the car, it'll say a number. That's the only time it'll ever give you that number. Because if you drive like my wife, just around town all the time, like our Kia shows 600 and something kilometres range because it thinks that's all we ever do is around town driving, and whereas the Cupra shows less than that because I'm flogging it. I'm in sports mode all the time. I'm not trying at all to conserve energy. So it's based on how you drive, and that's a very different thing for everyone. So I mean that's a fun thing about it too. But it sounds like the kind of car you love and you're going to hang on to. Has it changed anything? Have you only got one car in the household?
Well, yeah, no, we got two, and look, this car was going to be for my partner. Her car was getting a bit long in the tooth and got quite high Ks, got 200,000 on it, and which isn't terrible, but you start thinking about 5 years, you start thinking, okay, maybe we should move that on. And she got cold feet in the end. I went, you know what? Do I really need the Ute? Nah, let's get rid of it. I'll just, I'll take the Tesla. And So it was originally intended for her, but it was with all consideration, knowing that the Tesla Supercharger was there. Like if I didn't think the Tesla was going to be suitable for my work, I wouldn't have taken it on.
Yeah.
But so she whenever, absolutely every single opportunity, she will take that car and drive it. If I'm going away interstate, which I do a lot, she quickly calculates what sort of driving she's doing while I'm away, and if it's more than what I'll be doing getting to the airport, she'll be going, okay, I'm taking your car, and you're taking mine. So she's definitely indicated that her car is going probably next year, and you'll be getting an EV for sure.
Another Tesla, mate, or what? You'll be a Tesla family then, or what?
Look, I'm always open-minded. Look, I was actually driving a Polestar last week in Victoria, and it was a dual motor, and geez, it goes like crazy.
Yeah.
I must admit, I found we had a Volvo previously, and the cabins are a little bit claustrophobic.
They're a bit tight. Yep, I agree.
Yeah, but I love the performance, but I'm sure a Model 3 performance probably does crazy stuff like that too. But look, I am open-minded to other brands, but I saw at the local, I had the ceramic coating redone because of a recent minor accident, and just here at Thornley, and there was a Xpeng G6, I think they're called, in there getting done. Oh my God, it's actually a beautiful looking car.
Yeah,
and it looks like it's right up there. I'd consider it, but I do know that I'm going to probably we'll probably miss on some of the great stuff that's in a Tesla. So it's a little hard to pull away, to be honest.
Well, mate,
and look, I'd easily consider a second-hand Model 3.
There you go. That's
Of course.
interesting.
I was gonna say that,
And I've said in the recent weeks, I think you're probably going to be in line with some of the timings of some of the leases. Some of these novated leases and things are going to start dropping off in the next few years. So you might actually hit that sweet spot of it'll be bad. There'll be bad stories written about the value of EVs because they'll be flooding the market, not for a bad reason.
I'm actually liking those stories.
Bring
I'm
it
liking
on.
those stories. I don't care. I don't care about other people. I only care about me. And if they're going to reduce in value, then I'm going to get a cheap one.
Well, reduce in
and
value
I don't
because
care
there's
what
just
people
so
think.
much. There'll be so much stock out there, not because they're
That's it.
poor
And
vehicles.
all the
a lot of
bad
stock.
press EVs are getting is also pushing the prices down. I don't mind. I'm just going to snap it up.
Peter,
Why not?
I think you and I could get along really
Why
well.
not?
I don't like other people. I only care about me. That's basically my motto in life. That is my motto in life.
There's our social clip
Wow.
right there.
Did
Peter,
I say that?
no, I'm pretty sure. We'll go to the tape, but I'm pretty sure that's what you said, my friend.
Mate.
I said I
Too
don't
late
care.
now.
That's what I said.
Okay. I don't care. Same.
Same
Same.
sentiment. Yeah.
Peter, great to hear from you, mate, and keep us in touch on your EV journey, my friend.
That's right.
Thanks,
And
mate.
thank you. And it's great listening to you guys every week.
Good on you,
Thank
mate. That's
you.
really appreciated.
Thank
Good on
you.
you, mate. Cheers. Look, he definitely said that, okay? He said,
I don't care about other people. I only care about myself.
He didn't say I didn't care what other people think. He said, I don't care about other people. I only care about myself. Never a truer word has been spoken. Hey. It's true.
Yeah.
It's 100% true. Great to have your company. If you want to be like Pete, I'm summarising his name. I hope he doesn't mind. If you want to be like Peter, 0477 657 657. You didn't call him Peter.
Peter.
It's strange that he hasn't seen me driving around town. He's in the area.
And he's near the airport too, so he's got both of us covered.
He's only going to the airport to fly,
Sure he's not a private investigator looking after both of us or what?
though. Ooh, what's in Brookvale? Ooh,
Brookvale.
that's someone else he's looking out on.
Yeah, maybe.
All right, great to have your company, folks, and we'll do it all again next week here on Two Blokes Talking Electric Cars. Thanks to NRA Insurance and Union and Smart Dash Cams. Thank you all, and I'll see you next week, Stephen.
To catch you then.
I don't know what I'm doing.